Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolutions on the agenda later.
Good job.
All right, Kalkaska Memorial Health Center, you're on.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having us. Hopefully this will be as entertaining as butterflies. To tell you the truth, I'm more interested in the butterflies. We are here to present what we think will be our next major project at KMHC. It will be an acute care pavilion where we will be focusing on emergency medicine and acute care services, and then provide the organization with a lot of growth and opportunity for expansion. So I've got two of our executives here tonight. Jeremy Cannon is our Chief Nursing Officer. Jeremy's been on board now for about 2 years. Jeremy came on board, and the week after Jeremy started, we got a pandemic. So, and every time we introduce Jeremy, that's right. You know what? It's always nice to know, where were the seeds of that thing.
Yeah.
I'd also like to introduce Daniel Conklin. Daniel is our Vice President of Ambulatory Services. Daniel's been with the organization for almost 15 plus years. Daniel and Jeremy have really put a lot of time and a lot of effort into development of the acute care pavilion. So without further delay, I will turn over to them, and I'm going to be Vanna White. I'm going to hold the board. Vanna doesn't have anything to worry about.
I'm going to kind of give a bird's eye view of the current flow around campus, and then kind of highlight what we're proposing for the new flow. You want to set that here? So historically, this has been our main entrance. Prior to the new medical office pavilion that we opened in 2019, if you were coming to family medicine, see KMA here. If you were coming in for lab, radiology, rehab services, the emergency department, or pharmacy, this is really where we were directing you. This has really been patient parking. This is employee parking, and then really employee parking. And that was pretty much how we functioned up until the pandemic. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, we had to close down our waiting space. We couldn't have open waiting spaces. So we really had to shift how we transitioned patients to the campus. And so what we did is we really focused on, are you coming for a scheduled visit? Or are you coming because I need to come at my convenience? So if you're on the books for a visit to come in to see Dr. Long, or you have a surgical procedure or therapy, we shifted our focus and really migrated all of that traffic to the north entrance, maintaining what we kind of really considered historically the main entrance down here for walk-in services. So I need to come to the ER when I need services. I need to come to the lab when I need services, or walk-in radiology, or the pharmacy. And we directed that traffic here. That did two things. One, it really decompressed our waiting space. The second thing is it really gave us an opportunity to get patients where the services they needed to be closer. So for example, if you need to get down to rehab, that door is right here, and you can get right down for surgery. Right, so you park right out here, come in. Versus where we had you originally coming in the building here, trying to find your way. One of the first project I was ever part of at the hospital was the grand hallway. So we built cardiac rehab down in the basement, the grand hallway, and then the surgical suite. And I really think of that as like our 131 corridor. If we can get you onto the grand hallway, you can find your service. But today, if you're coming in for the ER, you come in the main entrance, you get screened, you get a registration, and you come over here. If you're trying to get to the lab, well, you got to meet the greeter, you got to find our piano, you got to turn right, you got to find our hanging fish, make another right, and then you'll see a smiling face. So what we're proposing is to build our new medical office pavilion where KMA used to live.
That was the original plan.
Our acute care pavilion, sorry.
That was the original plan, wasn't it?
That was the original plan, yep, from years ago. Okay, perfect. So what we're proposing is to actually build a two-story medical, acute care pavilion where KMA used to live. And what we're going to do is continue with what we learned from COVID and how we were able to get patients to the campus whether it's a scheduled appointment or an unscheduled. So we will continue to have all scheduled appointments, whether you're coming for surgery, rehab, chemo infusion, KMA, come to the north entrance. Come in off of 3rd Street. You'll either pull into the covered brick awning, come in for rehab surgery, or come in the blue awning. Now, I need to come for emergency services. I need to go pharmacy, lab red. What we are proposing is an extension of the grand hallway, or our 131 corridor. So you're either going to enter the grand hallway from the north or the south, and right from there, once you're on, you make a right or a left. Get your service, make your return visit right or left, back on the grand hallway, and back to your car. Wayfinding, we think, will be significantly improved. We're going to do remove current state of patient parking here and migrate it here. So if you have an unscheduled visit, please come to the 2nd Street parking lot. Come right in the grand hallway, you'll be greeted and right on your way. You have a scheduled visit? Perfect, come in on 3rd Street. Surgery, rehab, come in the covered brick line. If you're here for a physician or a provider visit, come in the blue line. Current state, we have 446 parking spots somewhere on the campus. That does not include our space we use to take the parking over here. Right now, we're looking at about a 20 stall decrease in total parking. So a little bit, but we still have all this space over here. So we really don't facilitate a loss in overall parking, especially when we have 45 spots here. That will be for same day admin. On a typical day, we'll see 50 patients in the ER, about 100 to 150 patients through radiology, and those are coming from the ER and KMA, and then about 150 patients in the lab. We think this new model will significantly decompress what we had at our main entrance and create an even nicer, more inviting main entrance on 2nd Street.
Also, if you remember when we came to Village Council and we were discussing the medical pavilion, the feedback we had received from the community is that there's a lot of traffic going down through to get to KMHC. So what we talked about was creating the medical office pavilion and having access to the medical building from 3rd Street, but then creating the ability to actually use 2nd Street for hospital access, for inpatient and outpatient hospital access, and then the ability to enter off of the alley for ambulances, right? So we have this plan will actually put all 3 of those new points of access in place, consistent with what we had proposed when we were building this building.
Is the footprint the same, or is KMA is that of what it is currently?
No, KMA is about 7,500 square feet. This building will be about 13,000 per floor, 2 floors.
And Jeremy will go through an in-depth of kind of what the first and second floor and how that compares to our current state.
So that's where your lost or parking spots are from that.
Yeah,
increase in size.
Right, this spot right here,
That makes sense.
this row right here is really the significant. We have 8 here, and this has 20 currently, and 8 here. We're gonna have 2 here, and then the 3 here.
Okay.
But in terms of overall traffic, this almost 50 spots here should really be able to provide the services when we talk about lab, walk-in radiology, and pharmacy utilization down here, because it's very similar to what we have today in the first 2 rows that we have open for patient parking, with the staff being the back 3 rows.
I like the idea of scheduled versus unscheduled. That really makes sense to me, and
We've
it shouldn't take long to
implemented
catch on to.
since COVID, and we've migrated more and more services as it's made sense, and we've tweaked it over the last 2 years. But it has been so easy to call a patient and say, have you been here? Oh, you got a scheduled visit, come on 3rd Street, find the blue awning, come right in. And so if we can get you onto the grand hallway, and we're gonna carry, Jeremy, Skittle Center, we're gonna carry all that same design through, which is gorgeous, but once you're on, you're gonna be greeted, and it's just go down, turn right, go down, turn left, you're on or off. You don't have to worry about trying to find the piano, the fish, and somebody to speak to.
Well, it's something as simple as the blue canopy. You know, if you're coming to see your doctor, go to the blue canopy. If you're coming for inpatient or outpatient, come to the green canopy or whatever color we actually conclude with.
Can you do a quote check and hold them both up? Can you hold them both up?
I can hold this one.
It's a much bigger building. It's probably 80% bigger.
And that line on the west side of it, that's the hallway?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yep, so you'll see in the next actual floor plan models, the greeter and everything is right here.
Okay.
So right now, today, if you park out here, you have to walk around to get to here to get to the lab. We're migrating services closer to this entrance for walk-in, which allows for safety, security, a bunch of different things that Jeremy will talk about, but there will be a body right here that will be able to help with the wheelchair or get you in and out to your service. And we've separated services. So for example, if you need lab work, if you're in KMA, you can have your lab work done in KMA. Our staff come to you.
We were just there today. It
That's,
was like room service.
that was a heck of a,
Yeah.
that was a great idea.
So what we've been able to do is actually, for the vast majority of services, be able to provide it right where you're at. So you don't have to travel. And the key that came out of that was COVID. We had, if you take 100 patients needing radiology services and 150 patients needing lab, that little waiting area that has about 6 seats was carrying almost 250 people a day. We had to do something different. And so that, out of necessity, came creativity. And it's been phenomenal. So we'll do the same thing. We're going to migrate, work on moving lab this way. In the design, you'll see the x-rays move this way, so it's in and out, weekend, et cetera, so we can actually hopefully decrease your time in the hospital.
And in the future, for wayfinding, there will be, again, the entrance for, if you want to see a physician, you go to this entrance. If you're in or outpatient acute care, you go to this entrance, and long-term care at their entrance. But the benefit is there will only be 3 public entrances, which give us the ability to close entrances and actually close wayfinding in order to protect and provide more security throughout the building. We had, a couple of years ago, before we built this building, we probably had 6 or 7 different entrances, and locking the building down was tough. Right, with this, we're gonna have 3 entrances that literally will lock the building down for enhanced security.
Yeah, we do that today. So like KMA is locked down on weekends. If you got in that door, you cannot get through the building without badge access. I don't want to steal Jeremy's thunder and take up all your time, so
It's all good.
thank you.
So Daniel's great. I was kind of like, teeing it up for me. So in 2019, in December of 2019, I interviewed at Kalkaska for the role, and it was like, hey, we're gonna build a new emergency department. Like, this is awesome. Went home, told my wife all about it, and then I started in February. The pandemic started, and then everything took a pause. Well, that pause did a lot of things. It really helped prep us for the current design. If we had turned around and implemented the other design, there were some challenges that we wouldn't have been able to address, but we were able to address them in this currently designed. A couple things is contagious versus not contagious waiting spaces. And I'll highlight those things as we kind of go through, and I kind of show you how we actually kind of enter the emergency department and then your wayfinding around it. We also, behavioral health is another big thing. Having safe rooms for behavioral health patients. Behavioral health in emergency departments is a thing. We have we have individuals in this community and in all communities in northern Michigan that are in crisis and use the behavioral health services in the emergency department. So supplying that with a safe space for care was needed for sure. Security, they already mentioned it a little bit on the ability to kind of lock the area down and kind of close off certain wings. This design allows us to do that. So just some really great stuff that I can kind of, like I said, walk through. So there's 2 ways to get an emergency department. One is through the ambulance, the other one's through the front door. So I'll take the front door entrance first and kind of show you what it kind of looks like. To Daniel's point, this up here on the top is the grand hallway to the south entrance. So when you walk into the north grand hallway, you walk in, it's incredible. We're going to have that same kind of impact here on the back side of the hospital on the south side. You can kind of see where it is located from a perspective. This is the piano. The piano's sitting up here. So just for some kind of form of reference of where this building actually is and how it kind of looks, there's a piano here. There's a sidewalk here that was, that is currently exists. So you can kind of think about like how big it is based off the current needs.
Well, this is where the kids play.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they're right here in the waiting room. So it's all good. So you come in here, you come in through the vestibule in the front of the hospital, and the greeter, which is something that was new through COVID, having that greeting station. It's awesome. I mean, you come in, you get where you get. It doesn't matter how big of a hospital it is or how big of a space it is. Wayfinding any facility can be challenging. But Daniel really, he was the kind of the architect behind this interstate idea. This kind of, get on the interstate and just travel through the organization. I think that's excellent. So you come in here, you see the greeter. You say, hey, I'm here to get some emergency care. Great. Hang a hard right here, and this is the registrar's office, or the registrar's area. So they'll come in, they'll register you, and then we have your waiting room right here. In your waiting room, there's an isolation waiting room and then a regular waiting room. Many like children's clinics, you see kind of a well waiting and a sick waiting area. That's what we've created here. You come in here, we have 2 triage bays. You come in here, you're gonna see our provider. They're gonna determine what level of care you are and which room you should go into. You come out of there, and you come around. We have 11 rooms in our emergency department. Our current emergency department has 7. We see about 15,000 people in the emergency department. It is absolutely incredible. We were seeing those volumes in 2019. 2020, it kind of dipped down, like all emergency care. Everybody kind of shied away from the emergency department. We're right back to those pre-COVID volumes. Not only that, but our acuity is much higher. And so we measure acuity on a scale of 1 to 5, and the acuity of the patients is legit. When we look at other emergency departments throughout northern Michigan in the Munson healthcare system, they ebb and flow over the last 2 years. Kalkaska has gone like this and then stayed right up here and plateaued. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, maybe just to add to that, we also discussed your open walk-in clinic. The walk-in clinic is at Kalkaska Medical Associates. We anticipated that we were going to basically move 4,000 visits out of the emergency department into the walk-in clinic. The walk-in clinic is almost 3 times what we thought the volume would be, and the ED is up 20%. We didn't move.
Didn't quite work.
We didn't move anything. Yeah. So truly, if we would have built the ED that we were going to build before COVID, we would already be planning the next expansion of an ED.
Absolutely. And so it's absolutely incredible. And the county's growing, the spaces around the county, and people know we give excellent care. There's no one else I'd rather have on the other side of the bed, Dr. Sally Ansel. She is incredible. We're super blessed to have her here. And she's been, the other part that's really cool with this design, it's been a multidisciplinary approach. So there's been a bazillion people that have been involved in the design, including Dr. Ansel, the ED staff, radiology staff, respiratory therapy, you name it, they've been a part of this. So we have 5 traditional treatment rooms right here on this side. Then you come around the bay, you have 2 trauma bays, 2 isolation treatment rooms right here. So so essentially you walk in, you put on the appropriate gear, and then you can go in and treat the patients. There's also negative airflow. You've probably heard that term. Essentially, instead of air going out, it's air being sucked in. So that way contagious disease doesn't go out, only goes up and out. Come around the bend here, we have 2 low stimulation behavioral health rooms. So for reference, Munson Medical Center has 3 or 4. The concept and design is the exact same to properly care for patients that have behavioral health crisis. So you'd come in here, you'd get into the room, Dr. Ansel would treat you and say, all right, you're all good, time to go home. You would come through here and you would exit right here. The register again would be right here. The same person that registered would be the same person that would check you out and back up through your career. When you look at the design of the building, it's pretty sweet. The nurses station circles the entire area, so it's visibility all the way around. We have your traditional stuff, your med room, your nourishment rooms, all those things. So this is, like I said, just an excellent kind of design. A couple things you could, let's say you come in through the ambulance bay, which is down here on the bottom. So you come in through the ambulance bay and you have COVID, right? It's like, oh, we got a patient, COVID positive, bringing them in. Okay. Come in here, you can actually go through a decontamination room, so never even enter the actual space. Decontamination room, right into the isolation treatment room and get treated. So therefore, no access to anybody out here, non-COVID, non-contagious related individuals. Get your care here, and then from there, you could treat, discharged, be discharged on the same spot if you wanted to. You could come in with a suspected COVID, bring in through here, come in here. They're like, actually, there's nothing, you're good, great, and then you can be discharged right out the front door with a family member or whatever it might be. So again, just a kind of an excellent design. It allows us to do a lot of other things. One of the other things that's really cool about this is the fact that we have respiratory therapy right here close into the emergency department. That's been a huge, huge benefit for this community and for our emergency department to increase our respiratory therapy coverage. We also have radiology right over here, so X-ray and whatever else. One of the issues with the previous design was that we would take people from the emergency department and they would have to cross through like a main corridor, a main kind of interstate throughput area.
Public area.
Yeah. To get to the CT scanner. That's a real problem. You don't want that. This new design allows us to use just a staff only hallway to enter and exit those services.
So we're separating public movement from patient movement.
So you'll have two different x-ray areas then. You'll have the public one where it is now.
Well, actually, no, we're
No.
going to actually connect the
All in
ED
one?
to the, well, we're building a dedicated unit actually in the ED, but the ED will connect in a private hallway, right? That's staff only to existing radiology and lab.
We have two x-ray tables today for redundancy in case one goes down. So we're gonna put one in the ER, which will be accessed for patients coming through the ER. But then on Saturday, we can staff our radiology team for right in the emergency department. If you're coming in for a walk-in x-ray, boom, right there and right back out. So Saturday, weekend nights, whatever, that's your entrance. You're in and out.
Based on my knowledge of your ER, I think you guys have done an outstanding job designing this, because I know where your problems are too. I hope, one, I would add, is 11 enough?
So,
You should-
well, here's how I always weigh it. Like,
I'm gonna ask you to build more, but.
sure, yeah. So a couple things. The waiting room right now is larger than the current waiting room. And I can tell you that based off our throughput, we don't have many people sitting in our waiting room. And we do, they're rarely there. So we do that with a 7-bed ED right now, 11-bed ED with the current throughput. There's no difference in our flows. We should be able to move people through just as efficiently. So that's what I kind of usually determine. Typically, it's not the number of rooms. The rooms matter for sure, but it's the actual throughput of how things happen. So I came from the Munson Medical Center. I was the director of nursing operations and throughput there. Throughput is an issue with the emergency department based off some of their processes and workflows. Ours are solid. It's collaborative. Daniel and his team, everybody works together, with excellent throughput. And so that's why I feel like there's no reason that's going to change based off the
That makes sense when you
Yeah.
explain it that way.
It should accommodate 20 to 25,000.
And for everybody else, you mentioned the site thing. I don't think people realize how long site patients end up taking up your ER.
Yep. It's not uncommon that an individual that needs behavioral health services, inpatient behavioral health services, maybe can get them at Munson. They have a behavioral health unit, but it's not uncommon that somebody could be in that space for 24, 48, 72, 96 hours. There's probably at least one in every month in the department every single day.
We have seen that from our department with the people having to sit in here, so that takes up a bed for a long time.
Absolutely. So you come up, you're like, hey, we need to be admitted up the stairs to the elevator. You come into the elevator here. This will be the second floor. This is where our acute care space will be. It's going to be 6 rooms, 8 patient beds. Our current acute care is 4 rooms, 8 patient beds. So it's all semi-private rooms. You come in here, elevator, down here. We got patient rooms here. These 2 rooms are here that are privates, could also serve as negative airflow rooms as well, the way they're built. Come around the corner, you have 2 private rooms, and then 2 semi-private rooms. Again, nurses station with full visibility around it. The other thing that's really great about this design and the other design is there's a lot of storage built into it. So I never have enough storage in the emergency department. Somehow they'll find a way to fill it all up. I'm confident because that's what they do. They do the same thing in every emergency department in America. But again, great space here, dictation space for the providers, storage, med rooms, all that. On the top floor, we have an education space right up here, and then also a chapel built in. So when you're in the north grand hallway and walk into our hospital now, you take a left, you'll see the glass windows that are the hallway for the OR suites. That same kind of concept will exist right here. It's a slick design. It's going to be excellent. Again, we don't have nearly enough education space on our campus, so this will help meet that need. The chapel, again, just really excellent. One of the things that's really amazing about this design and what we've been able to accomplish is we will build the south grand hallway first and then build everything else below that next. That allows us to keep our 7 ED beds fully functional during the construction phase and little disruption to the community. So very thoughtful, T's crossed, I's dotted. I couldn't be prouder of the team for putting this together. It's been awesome. Everyone's been involved. So I don't know if I left anything
What will
out.
happen with the current PD?
The
Do you know
ED,
yet?
the ED and the acute care, we have lots of ideas. Yeah, they literally will be used probably before we finish the project, yeah. We're actually thinking about some kind of medical mall function, specialists, healthcare support in that space, in addition to radiology expansion. So we've got lots of need.
Will you keep the walk-in clinic
Yes.
with this model, and where will that? Sorry, if you said it.
Well, it's in KMA.
Oh, okay, okay.
Separate entrance, but same building,
It's
right?
in the blue awning.
Actually over here.
It's in hallway C of the KMA.
Well, I can tell you as the village representative to the hospital board, there's some amazing stuff going on with this, and the hours that the employees have put in, and the fact that they've involved the employees, to me, is impressive. You know, who uses it more than they do, and who needs it more than they do? And COVID has been such a learning experience for everybody. I couldn't be prouder to sit on this board, on the hospital board as well. I just think in everything they've done, they paid for it. That's what I like about it. So far, what they do, they pay for it, you know. So, please, give guys your thoughts.
Yeah, when we went to the community in 2016, preparing for the 2017 millage, we asked the community specifically, what would you like? And they told us chemotherapy, infusion services, we need more doctors, chronic disease management. Well, that literally was this building. And all of those services are now open. They've been open for several years. The community also told us that they wanted an expanded emergency department, the ability to take care of a sicker patient, right? So that we would transfer fewer patients to Traverse City. Well, the expanded emergency department, the expanded inpatient service, in addition to medical specialties and staff specialties like 24/7 respiratory therapy, gives us the ability to actually go back to the community and say, here it is. You asked, it's right here. The next phase after this is long-term care. That was the last promise that we have made community based on the 2017 levy. And what we want a 2026, 2027, we want to be able to go back to the community and say, this is what you said you wanted. We promised you, we delivered. How about a renewal? Right, that's our goal.
So with you being able to treat patients longer and more thoroughly, I don't know if that's the right word here, but more in-depth patients in the ER, that I'm assuming revenues will also help offset some of these costs because you're able to do more?
Absolutely.
Not to turn it into a money thing, but
No,
it is.
Hopefully it is.
Well, and better for them to be able to stay here and get their
Absolutely.
services and not only have to drive all the way there or be taken all the way there, but then the revenue's not staying here either. It's not ending up in my paycheck.
Well, the 2017 levy was a capital levy. And, we used it actually to collateralize the bonds in this building. We're going to go to the bond market for probably anywhere from probably $12 or $13 million for the acute care pavilion. It all will be supported by operations. It's all supported literally by revenue generated at the hospital.
So do you need anything from us or are you just informing us?
This is just to inform you. Obviously, we're going to bring the site plan for official review, but we presented this to our board over the past couple of weeks. We're taking a similar presentation to all the townships, right? As one of the members of KMHC, the Act 47 municipality. We wanted you to hear from us first.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Is there any plans in the future for, in that imaging that you were talking about in the X-ray for like an MRI that's stationed here instead of a transient?
Speak about that.
Because we have had so many patients that are too obese or have to use a piece of equipment to get in, then they have to be transferred to Traverse and just tell me.
The current standard for a fixed MRI unit is about 30 years old. And in order to have a fixed MRI unit, you have to have one of three criteria. You have to do 6,000 adjusted procedures. KMHC does about 3,500. If you do less than 6,000, but you operate a 24/7 emergency department, which we do, well, you only have to have 3,000 adjusted procedures. So we meet that threshold. But the key is you have to have an emergency department that sees 20,000 visits. So myself and another team member from Munson Healthcare have been working on a new certificate of need requirement with the state of Michigan And hopefully by September of this year, we've changed the regulations that for a metropolitan area, as KMHC, micropolitan, thank you, is designated, we've changed the verbiage to 10,000 visits. So our hope is that we will actually start developing, we did this in 2015 or 16, a campus plan to have a fixed MRI. We're looking at nuclear med as well, nuclear medicine, so you don't have to travel. And so hopefully within, fingers crossed, within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll have a strategic plan to be able to offer that here for that main purpose. We can actually we can provide access to care. Right now it's 3 days a week. We might be able to go to 6, be able to take care of more patients close to home and take the cost down.
And is the nuclear medicine still slated to go in KMA somewhere? Or is that going to go into a new portion?
We got to figure out that when you talked about space, what we might vacate, we need to figure out where that is, right? We need 50 feet for MRI for safety restrictions and all that stuff. So we've got a lot more to investigate and to develop of where is the best location for that, especially with the new model, how patient flow, et cetera. But yeah, we have a plan to bring nuke med in to bring fixed MR to our campus.
That's great.
Why is there a limitation on, I mean, if you are a hospital and you have the money and you think you have the patients, why can't you just go put in an MRI?
We don't want one on every corner. Access. to
Who's
care.
regulating that? Is the same?
The state.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're certificate of need state. So if any project with $1 million has to have a certificate of need.
So that's what, the same thing we run into with the mental health beds, that we have beds that are staff.
Need. The MRI standards were developed when MRI first came online 30 years ago and haven't been revamped
Sure,
since then.
nobody's using it, because it
So-
didn't exist.
So it's time to up to this. Okay.
Yep.
We appreciate you taking interest about that.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing, I like what you're doing, and I like what you're saying, so, thank you.
You too, good guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming, putting so much hard work into it, and answering all of our silly little questions.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. You guys are welcome to leave, you can stay and watch the show. I know you're busy, guys.
Would you like this set?
I don't think it's
We don't
necessary.
need
It's
to
not,
set.
these employees that aren't here, no one's gonna look at them, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. Y'all have a good day now.
You too. Bills and finance.
We met today at 5 o'clock to review current invoices, payroll reconciliation, payroll journal entries, bank reconciliations, and we reviewed the budget amendments numbers 9 and 10. We are making a recommendation to the village to pay the bills in the amount of $96,321.03.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Yes.
If there's no discussion.
Bishop?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it.
Also here.
Larson?
You sure?
Larson?
Yes, it's questionable.
Miller?
Yes.
Needham?
Yeah.
White?
Yes.
Wales?
Yes.
Carried.
That's all we have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ethics Review Committee.
We met, hang on a second here. I had it, but
Didn't have any notes.
I didn't. So, okay. But anyways, we met a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago. At 2 o'clock here at the company. We discussed conflict of interest and discussed the policy. And we are making no recommendations. We are tabling it till we can discuss it further.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Housing Development Committee.
Housing Development met on the 3rd at 5 PM. All members present, and Cash Cook from the DDA was also here for discussion. Jessica Swift from 42 Degrees was in the peanut gallery and also making suggestions. We talked about the return so far on the survey that we have out for the housing opportunity map. At that point, we had 47 people who have responded. 70% of them are employers, 83% were employees. We decided to leave it out for another month as the planning commission did not meet in February, so we will visit this again in March. We're changing the verbiage on the online forms to employees and individuals, or employers and individuals instead of employers and employees.
Okay.
We're attempting to increase the posting of the governmental sites and share on personal pages as well, just to get it out in the public more. I've got some posters I'm going to be putting up in some of the heavier traffic areas in town to make sure that they're up and visible getting to the March meeting. And then we discussed the recommendations between Housing North and the Planning Commission, such as working the housing plan into the new master plan, because it's that time again that we start working on it. Discuss community land bank possibility. More information will come out of this at our next meeting. Yarrow is putting together some more information. Her and Cash have been discussing opportunities that are coming on the pipe. There's developments that are in the works. There's a couple of pathways that Yarrow thinks she can help squeeze out. So as those conversations happen, we'll have more to report. And that is all we have to report, unless there's questions from.
I'll just give you a quick update on my part of that. The Court Street house is gone. It's not gonna be completely finished until the snow's gone and they can level the dirt and everything, but the house is gone, the old dead trees are gone. They really cleaned it up a lot. And then I'm waiting on consumers and DTE. It should be within the next couple of weeks to finish the removal of their services from Cherry Street. And then that will be removed as well.
Awesome. And we're scheduled to meet again on the first Thursday of March.
Awesome.
Great. When will you have posters?
I'll probably have them ready tomorrow.
Oh, can I get one of those?
Yes. I'll get with you during the day. I'm off work for another day.
How do you get a survey?
There's links online. You can reach it from the village website.
And we have some printed, right? A few?
Madam Clerk, did we have printed ones available still?
Of the surveys,
The housing survey?
I believe so. I will double check. I know the QR.
Like from Mr. Larson?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
If we can locate a paper copy.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And I'll take one of those too.
Sure.
Any more discussion on the housing development?
I have nothing.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No? Nope. All good. Police report.
Argyle returned from her military leave and turned in her notice. She will not be coming back to work for the department. She's not going to be a police officer anymore. She found other things she'd rather do in life. So we wish her well, and we have a ad out for looking for applications. Rich Nagy will be done with field training in the next week or two, so you'll start seeing him out full time. And Bill Robbins does his paperwork with the clerk tomorrow, and will start full time on the 18th. You've probably seen a couple of big drug cases lately. The guys have really been working hard, let's say professionally. So they do a great job and keeping everybody safe.
It's been nice seeing a increased presence.
I am.
Next.
You can, but I really want to make a comment. What he said about seeing the presence of the police. So with working all these weird hours at the hospital, I have been walking the dog at 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had the opportunity to walk the dog when I got home at 2:30 the other morning and walk the dog in the middle of the night, all the way downtown, all the way across town in any direction, and felt completely safe at all times. And I tell you, that did not happen 10 years you walk around town and you saw people walking around town and you didn't know what was going on and you didn't want to be out there with them. But I always people say, "Hi, oh, a pretty dog," in the middle of the night walking around downtown. That's all I saw. Nothing scared me or the dog or was weird. And I want to appreciate and say thank you to our police department for the work that they have put in, straightening things out a bit. Very much appreciated.
The only thing I can really think to add is on the Cherry Street house. I know originally there was a anticipated plan of building kind of a park there. I have no intention of doing that unless you guys tell me you want to do otherwise. I didn't get the feeling that the council was on board with that, and I think it's a better use as residential. Build some houses, sell the property, build some houses, get houses back, get it back on the tax roll.
Well, and two, that was also kind of depending on the marijuana industry to kind of kick that park off. And I think that the marijuana industry doesn't really right now. It's supposed to put 400 people that are now working here and don't have houses or places to live. So I think that's a really good steer on both ends. Yes.
Matter of fact, part of that is we were gonna use part of that property for the generator for Coral Street lift station. We want an on-site generator because 95% of our sewage goes through that lift station. So if it goes down, it's a problem. So we want to put an on-site generator there. And we were originally going to put that on this side, but I'm actually working with the hospital and it sounds like we might over something else that we can get some space on their side of the lift station instead of needing to take up space on the housing.
In addition to that new plan, we can just throw out there and tell them that we're transitioning the motors to a different type of motor so that there is continuous flow going out of the hospital with all these expansions, upping the size of the volume that's flowing, and having backup pumps instead of just having the one that we have to pull out, put a fake one in, and go get that fixed. Now we'll have multiples, so if one goes down, they can pull that one out, send it off to get serviced, it will still run. And then if the power grid goes down, the generator will kick in and keep that flow going, and we won't have to worry about that 26 critical minutes before the whole block.
And that's literally about what it is.
Yes.
Power goes up,
With all
someone's
of that
running
coming
to
out of the hospital,
to
we
find
know
generator.
where it's gonna go. It's not gonna go back that way. Where else happens it?
Oh, one other housing thing is the 109 4th Street. The environmental work is done. The purchase agreement is almost done. The land split is in the attorney's hands, but it sounds like everything is going to be good. Both attorneys on both sides are in good shape. And we put in there a minimum of 24 units in the purchase agreement. So they have to build at least 24 units there.
You said 4th?
109 4th, the old police department property.
Yeah. How many units?
At least 24. That's actually in the agreement, so they can go more, but they can't go less. That was the minimum I was willing to go to make sure that it was worth it.
Was that a brownfield property or am I
It
confused?
is being included in the brownfield.
It's going to be an active brownfield because of the mercury.
That's it, unless anybody has questions.
Anticipation of finalization, yeah.
The 109 4th. As far as paperwork, I can't see it being more than a couple weeks because we've gone through like the large majority of the heavy lifting already. It's just a matter of their attorney signing it and our attorney telling us to sign it. So I think it's within weeks.
Cool,
He wants to break down the stuff.
cool.
Well, and he's got his own crew to do it, so it won't be a matter of waiting to get things done.
I think everybody knows the same owner as
Botanical.
company, so we can see what he did on the outside and how his building looks. And that's very encouraging too.
Did an awesome job.
It's important.
Inside is beautiful,
Oh, yes.
gorgeous.
Very, very good. My report, I really don't have anything to add because I keep doing everything. We do have the State Planning Commission hearing coming up, and a lot of the questions that I'm fielding from the players lately, wondering if we're going to impose some city taxation on the employers. And I had an opportunity to go over and sit with the DDA and the city council in Grayling a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to pick their ears and find out this clearly. And they said that their hospital, which has 800 employees, they gain only $125,000 a year from that tax. And compared to our hospital, all the employees, it certainly wouldn't be worthwhile, in my opinion, to impose any taxation when you're trying to get employers to move to the area. That would be the most ridiculous thing. However, we don't really have much say about it because it's going to be the charter commission that actually puts the charter together, which will be what we're ruled by. As far as taxation goes, we have that all geared up so we can show some real facts and figures if they're asking. I'm sure they will be at the SBC, but the commission that's formed to write the charter is going to determine the type of government, the taxation, anything else that's going on there. We've already had conversations with like hotel owners. They know that they're the ones that vote for the hotel tax. So it's their majority. It's not something that's decided by council as city. So just going forward, if people have questions about things, those are things that we can't answer right now. I mean, we don't have any plans. That's not the purpose. To raise the taxes is not the purpose. It's to not raise the sewer bill 30%, which is what the other side is facing if this doesn't go through. So just want to throw that out there so everybody knows that it's not us that's going to make any of those decisions anyway. So just let people know that this is what we initiated because this is the state of our sewer. This is a solution that is feasible according to the treasury. So hopefully that's all I have to say. We have no unfinished business. New business, consider adoption of proclamation 2022-001 Monarch Butterfly Month.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion?
Yeah, in the resolution, this is resolving to recognize June as Butterfly Month. Are we also going to do the membership and get some signs?
Well, we're going to do the membership, and then I believe, were you going to solicit funds for signs as well?
Yeah, so we do have friends of the Kalkaska Conservation District. It's something that they're interested in assisting with. And then if folks wanted to purchase their own sign or the garden club, we do one for like the other welcome sign out by the park and ride. Even the welcome sign's kind of in downtown. So it would be good too.
So in this, we are just adopting the resolution and saying that we're going to pay the $50 membership fee. Right? I have to check.
It doesn't say anything about the
I
membership.
didn't read it.
It doesn't say.
I was not aware of that actually at the time of the proclamation was drafted.
So we could have,
Can we vote on it with the addition of membership fee being added?
Is $50 the right amount?
It was on the website just a couple days ago, so.
I remember
Oh.
that.
Don't worry about it. I'll donate the $50.
No,
That's the way it
I'm
is.
certain it's a $50 lifetime fee.
I'll donate.
In the signing.
Don't have to worry about it.
I don't think it's hard to, or it's quick, right?
I'm good. I'll donate. It's easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
I think it's a good thing.
It is.
It is. Thank you.
Any more discussion then? I still want a roll call.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Dunham,
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Carries.
Thanks. Consider approval of contract with C2AE for professional architectural and engineering services related to federally funded capital projects requiring
qualification-based selections.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and support, any discussion?
I just have a question. On page 1, on the second half, under terms and conditions, 1A, is professional consulting firm going to be their name as a place to work?
Yep, it sure is.
It's just the first page. I think it's from the agreement template.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know if it's a big deal.
Thank you for catching that, and I will make that correction.
Is this our first contract with them?
This is for the RFP that we put out for federal grants. So it cuts off that 3-month or 2-month or however long that getting whoever you're going to do to do
We've
it.
used C2AE before.
And C2A is actually doing the work of finding the federal grants. So this kind of locks them in, they're not doing something for them.
They've done our architect of record for the past 2 cycles or 3 cycles.
And because they also are engineers and we also have an engineer of record, this likes them to be in charge, kind of like when we did Wildwood Square, and we didn't really know which one of them was going to be in charge until we kind of determined that, and they were kind of in charge of each other's portions, and it was very awkward. This makes them in charge, and then they will sell it.
My library uses them too, and they're very reasonable, and they seem to know what they're
And
doing.
they're so good about going out and getting their own grants to do stuff, so. So do we need to amend our motion to amend the,
With the correction.
with the correction, and then second it with the correction? Does everybody agree that?
Do the whole agreement.
I make a motion.
You did.
Then I would like to amend the motion. Oh no, I found another one. To change, can I just say to change professional consulting firm to C2AE and all?
Through the entire
document?
document. It's in there a couple times.
I apologize.
No problem.
And I'll
There's
second
3
that.
places. 1, 2, 3. There's-
Oh,
Motion and second
sorry.
with the amendments. You want to take roll call on yours?
Larson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
Yes,
White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Carries.
Authorized publication of delinquent utility accounts to be transferred to tax rolls.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support, roll call please.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Me, Dunham.
Thank you. Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
yes,
White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Carries.
Consider recommendation from Kalkaska DA to Scott Yost from board.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Miller, support by Larson. All those in favor, say yes.
yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. Motion carries. Consider adoption of ordinance 2022-001, stormwater management.
So moved.
Motion and support, any wish to discuss the stormwater management?
Is this new to us?
It is.
It is.
We currently regulate stormwater, but we don't have an actual ordinance, and it was referenced in the new ordinance, so we figured we should have one to reference. And it has gone through Goslin Zubek, and they've reviewed it and commented.
Did we get it from someone?
We had the attorneys write it, and then Goslin reviewed it and made localized changes that they thought were specific to us.
Yeah, our house engineers. I read it, but for us, some of us, it doesn't make a difference. I couldn't tell you if it's good or bad.
Stormwater's so cool.
It is.
Until it's going through your.
Your house, yeah.
No, it's cool when it goes where it's supposed to.
Yes.
Well said. Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Yes.
carries.
F, consider adoption of ordinance 2022-002, sale of village-owned non-public park property.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, second.
Support.
Motion and support by Larson, open for discussion.
Is this a generic one or is this for a specific property?
This is a generic one.
Okay, so this is new to us as well?
Because currently we have, under the old attorney ordinance, every time we wanted to sell a piece of property. This allows us to do it, obviously with council approval.
This conversation has come up multiple times.
So this is just a
Past
blanket.
several years.
Our previous attorney told us we couldn't do this. Our new attorney says absolutely we can.
So we're paying once instead of paying 9,000 times $237 as it has in the past.
And this is actually to facilitate the property swap. Well, that's what it's initially for, and then it will help with the housing and all of the things to do with housing. But the piece of property at 194 and the little square and the little sliver that's down there by where the trailhead's gonna be, we're going to be swapping with the DDA. We're going to gain Railroad Square, so we'll own the ground and what's on top of it. And they will get 109 so that they can make a deal with Russ for that building and facilitate that and pursue drilling grants, and then they can use that piece of property down there as well for their grant for the
That
trail.
makes sense.
So it's just gonna be, oh, so beautiful.
That makes sense.
When does that happen? Or has that happened?
As soon as we pass this,
Fall or-
the paperwork's all ready to fall in and the brownfield's all ready to fall in. We've been
Once
working
we
on it
have this, then those agreements get signed that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So I would think within.
pretty quickly.
even
All
a
of these are
month is-
supposed to happen in the spring.
2 months would be a long time.
I think March is a goal date, so we're getting it under, but apparently.
You said the attorneys came up with this, right?
Correct.
I thought it sounded good, but it's been a long time since I did real estate, so I'm trying to remember what else we need to do with. Good.
Take a roll call, if there's no further discussion. White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Fails,
Yes.
carries.
Consider adoption of resolution 2022-002, National Festival Fireworks Display.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I would like to announce that I'm a director of the National Trout Festival Board. So it's not on record before these folks go there.
I should probably announce that I'm the president of the Trout Festival Board.
Ma'am, I'm announcing that I'm the vice president of the Trout Festival Board before we go forward with this, and I am going to gain no financial gain from any
No,
of
there's no
these,
fight, no,
and
we don't
none of
get
us
paid a
will.
salary or anything.
However,
Thank you.
Yes. So 2022 National Festival Display. Motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Motion and support by Bishop.
Are we all set on the paperwork and stuff on this now? I think Mike Falk said the
Yes.
permits have been all too. Okay.
Yes, I have everything I need, yes.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
All those in favor of this resolution, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? First one carries. Consider adoption of resolution 2022-003, National Trout Festival banner.
So moved.
Motion by White,
Support.
support by Miller. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we look for please. Pass it. Consider adoption of resolution 2022-004, National Trout Festival Memorial Parade.
Okay, did we decide not to go with Friday just to be prepared in case? You wrote me or somebody wrote me, I can't remember, about a Friday parade.
Oh, the.
And I told you that we don't know that yet, we're waiting for the school to decide whether they got somebody that's gonna take care of it. That we maybe sham or just in case.
I would rather see you put it on there and not use it.
That's
than
what I
have to
said,
come
we
back
can
and do a
always
special
cancel
meeting.
the parade.
Correct.
Okay,
So can we change, can we, I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2022-004 with the addition of Friday the 23rd as well as Saturday the 24th.
So you want to have one resolution
For
for
the-
both parades?
Can we do them in one?
I don't see why not. Typically do them in separate resolutions. I didn't see your email until today after everything's been finalized. That's why I didn't draft a separate resolution.
But we can just do Grand Royal backslash.
This resolution is only for the MDOT purpose, correct?
Correct.
It should not be a problem being on one.
Okay. Is there a time for the Friday parade?
Same time, 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So there's,
But at this point, we don't know that.
Okay.
the date, it says, 24th up here, it says 23rd down here. Or Saturday, is that?
Oh, yep.
Yep.
What's the date?
I am sorry. I am just dropping the ball tonight.
I just happened to see, it's like, well, let's see, it's 23rd's already on there.
One, and this one says
Yeah.
2022, so I
Saturday
would
would be
assume
the
it auto-filled the date.
Yeah, I think
Saturday
it
is
just
the
auto-
23rd.
Yeah.
23rd.
The first one, it changed the
Because
date on
That is the
the
22nd.
and changed it.
Oh.
It wasn't your fault, it was
Oh.
that kind of autocorrect.
All right.
Yes, let's not repeat that.
They did it.
Any stretch. of
That's in 2 paragraphs.
Yes.
All right.
Isn't that funny? I read that and didn't even catch that.
I didn't either.
It's in the top paragraph. It's in 3 paragraphs, actually. Okay.
Motion's made with its amendments. And motion's seconded with its amendments.
Was there a second? I did not hear
Yes.
one.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Who's second? Thanks, Mickey.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? J, consider adoption of resolution 2022-005 to obtain credit cards from Forefront Credit Union.
I'll make a motion.
Motion
I'll support.
for Hank Bishop. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Miller, Needham,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consider adoption of resolution 2022-006, budget amendment number 9, fiscal year ending 2/28/2022. This is the one for the revenue.
For what?
The revenue, the first one's for revenues, the second one's for expenses.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Motion, I need support. Bishop, open for discussion. Anybody have any questions or discussion?
Anything that we should, treasurer should let us know? I mean, is there anything unusual here?
The
Nothing
big
jumped out
number,
at me.
well, a big number, but that's still residuals from earlier. What this is a
Yes.
big flush from.
Yep.
Yeah, like 2/3 of it.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Any more discussion? Roll call on that, please.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Carries.
Consider adoption of resolution 2022-007, budget amendment number 10, fiscal year ending 2/28/2022. This one is really expensive.
I'll
Motion,
make the motion.
motion by Miller.
I'll support.
That was such a tie. I think Needham got it that time. Open for discussion.
Anything again, anything unusual? I didn't see anything that jumped out at me again, but that doesn't mean I didn't miss something.
It's pretty.
Okay.
What was all included in the village transition? Is that like return fees or application fees?
All of that, right?
Yes,
Anything
was-
else?
no, it was attorney fees pretty basically and advice.
Not the feasibility report that was in last year's budget, right?
Pardon?
The feasibility study?
No.
I think that was in the previous budget.
There's, within that line, professional and contractual services, the village transition,
Yeah,
there's several line items underneath that. There's sub-line items of things we're charged up to. Looking in there, it looks as though some of the zoning, the new zoning, which really isn't part of that transition, but it is part of that transition, also got categorized in there.
Okay.
And a lot of other things that we've done along the way that aren't actually that transition. But it's the correct amount. And it's professional services. So if we proceed with the amendment, we're gonna filter back and figure out what exactly will, and make sure those allocations go back into the right spots. But didn't actually see that until a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
When you pulled the tab, I'm like, how did we allocate that? And then she pulled it down, and we saw a lot of things that were divided out into that billing that I believe are actually from the planning and zoning, because some of them are titled planning and zoning. So I don't think that that is an accurate number for everything that we actually spent towards the transition. Because I'm pretty sure that number was about $25,000, not 200. Because we actually had a contract for the year, so.
I think it's closer to 5.
I think it was closer to 25, that was the contract, and then anything else that we did on top of that, I think probably had a lot to do with the zoning and all the other things that we have done. But we'll clarify the next- well, before the budget, we're gonna clarify before the budget here, so that we can talk about what we just did before we go to the next budget, because those lines are also gonna pertain to the new budget, so.
And something you gotta understand too, like there are, project numbers, like he said, there's all the sub ones underneath that same professional and contractual. But when I do the budget and when I do these, amendments, those numbers don't separate out. So the total that you're seeing might be like under that, professional and contractual calculation, there's quite a few. And so that whole number didn't go just to the village city. So just so you understand, that could be, I don't know how I could fix that, because the budget comes from, an app that a program that we use. And it just does not put it in there for all of the different ones.
Because like that number you're saying holds more things than that,
Right.
but that's like
But
the one that's sorted to the top.
That's the heading.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful.
So when that, because these other ones I saw, in the other categories too, I saw other so I didn't know if the heading was cut off, and it really was also in other categories, but I didn't see it anywhere else. So that allocation too. The different ones.
The capital outlay, was that for the police department work? The 71,000 on the second page? There was nothing budgeted for there before, so we can-
That's everything though, probably, right?
Uh,
All the carpet,
yeah,
all the flooring.
it's the capital outlay, what's the second?
It's a 101 number, and then 345970.
971?
Second page above third.
Okay.
way down.
71,000, that was, yeah. It was, everything, just like you said. It included a lot of the work that's done.
Moving to, what's this, page number 4. The generator, is that the new generator that we've been talking about no, I'm getting it confused with the pump station. Or is that?
No, that is the same thing.
That is the
Yeah.
same one,
New pump stations in the
for the one over by the
or the
hospital.
one at the hospital, I think we're also, the big one that pumps everything else from the village goes through there, except what we do.
Or,
Or
yeah,
or beyond.
no, you're right, that is, everything but Midway.
And you better remember, it was to the top, like last time it went out.
Yeah.
I started using these papers for notes, so I'm a little off, but that's all the things.
That's all things. Anybody else have any more questions? People have to roll call.
Larson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have time for brief public comment. Any public comment this evening? Please.
Thank you for supporting Monarchs. They greatly appreciate it, I'm sure. But putting my farmer's market cap on, we are getting really excited for May to get back in the pavilion and showcase a lot of local producers and crafters. Some of the things most of you are familiar, the Conservation District is taking on farmer's market in its entirety, administrative and the day-to-day as we have been, but also administrative on the backside. Continuing on the food assistance programs, but we're also planning on doing kids activities, hosting music on a monthly schedule, and then also doing some cooking demonstrations. So kind of building out the schedule of that. Beyond our May to October seasonal farmers market, we're hoping to create a year-round market. Last winter, we did a mini winter season with the Coliseum, and it went pretty beautifully. A lot of people were really excited about it, so we decided we're going to keep on doing that and help work towards a robust local food economy. So we're really excited about that. So stay tuned. We'll have official press releases and everything coming soon. Our vendor packets are nearly ready to be published into the world, but some of our current vendors from last year are chomping at the bit, excited to get their name on the list and reserve their spot. So it's a wonderful asset, the pavilion is. So thank you for working with us.
Thank you for all your work.
Yeah.
So excited to come into a town meeting. Any other public comment?
We just moved here, so we're coming to see what's going on.
lot.
That's it. So no hidden agenda here.
Oh, welcome to Kalkaska.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been working here about 2.5 years. My husband also works here. We decided to make the move.
Cool.
Yeah, we like it.
Good for you.
Yeah, so.
Very nice people.
Not that the village will be running Railroad Square. I hope to come back at the beginning of next month with a list of sponsors for this year's movies.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to go into closed sessions to consider strategy with council regarding pending litigation.
I will make that motion.
Motion.
I will second it.
Motion and support going into closed sessions at 7.
All
Play
right,
break,
and I
61
need to
thumbs.
take a roll call vote to go into the closed session.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Miller,
Yes.
Needham,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Yeah,
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Wales.
Yes.
Yes. Closed session, we get
Yeah, that sounds good. I can't, I gotta go. I have to work at 5 a.m.